welcome back to the Power Up podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ziva the Diva, joined as well by Annabel and Sheridan. And today we have our first episode with a guest, and Sheridan is going to introduce our lovely guest today. Sheridan, go ahead.
Of course. And before I read out her bio, I just want to say we wanted to start, when we chose our guest, we wanted to start within our own community. Well, at least my community and Ziva's community. Start in that collegiate esports world with someone that we know really well and would love to learn more about. So without further ado, introducing our first guest, Maria Courbrew Mullis is a sophomore at Florida State University, majoring in creative writing with an expected graduation in spring 2023. Maria has been part of FSU Esports since she started university in fall 2019 and currently plays main support on the FSU Overwatch team. In addition, she's been an avid World of Warcraft player since she was 7 years old. Welcome, Maria. We are so excited to have you. I've known you for a few years, and I know Ziva has as well, so we're really excited to get a chance to talk with you and, learn more about your background.
Well, I'm happy to be here. This is a cool experience.
We're happy to hear you're excited as well, because we are so excited, of course, to have our first guest. So you're a guest of honor, our first ever guest on the Power Up podcast.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, of course. You really are. Is starting the legacy of, I'm sure, will be a long list of fantastic guests. So today we're just going to ask you some questions about your experiences in esports and video games just throughout your life, just to kind of, get a little bit of a glimpse into your experiences in the world of esports and video games so that everybody else can know kind of what that's like and hopefully, get a little bit of an idea of all of that. So, Annabel, would you like to start us off with our first round of questions?
Sure. So the first round of questions is just like we said, mostly going to be about you and your path so far to where you are right now. So our first question is about FSU and mainly what drew you to FSU and specifically creative writing.
Well, I live in Florida, so I had the bright futures and stuff, and I was kind of like thinking about schools to go there just so it's easier money-wise. But my dad and my aunt actually went to FSU before me, and I had 2 cousins that were going here around the time that I started applying. So I thought, why not? They like the campus. And then I was actually like an exploratory major in my first year. I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. So they gave me a bunch of classes that like had a range of subjects. And then I ended up liking, I took a poetic techniques class. And so that was just kind of an introduction to like the creative side of like something that's not like STEM or something like that, and I like that a lot more than biology or computer programming. That one sucked. And then I've always liked writing in general and like reading too, so the second year you can't be an exploratory after second year, so I just chose creative writing, and I like the classes I'm taking now.
A fellow English major. Good to see.
Yeah.
Good to see. So what do you want to do with your degree? Sorry, that's always like one of those scary questions. Like, what do you want to do with your life? But realistically or ideally, whatever you want.
I'm not exactly sure yet. I want to maybe try doubling so I can go into like publishing or something. And then from there, see what happens, because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. It's like a life career, but I'm enjoying creating things right now. So if that ever works out, then that might be a future.
An English major is a great one if you're... It's applicable to a lot of things. I met a lot of people who wanted to go into law. I'm in esports now. Some other people are doing other stuff, so it's very applicable to many different career paths. So no worries.
Yeah, you said you were enjoying creating things right now. So do you kind of have like any examples as to what you're creating? If you want to, of course, give us that information. Are you writing books, stories?
Right now I'm taking like a fiction workshop, and that's like a short story. And then I did something else last semester, which was also like creating short stories. So I've only written like 2 short stories now, but they're really fun to do. So I'm kind of hoping to do more of those, and then maybe books if that, works out.
Like it. A high ambition there. reach for the stars. No, that's a great idea. Awesome. So, of the kind of dreaded but necessary question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know it seems like such a long time ahead, but where do you see yourself?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna try looking for more opportunities to like find a career I like within FSU, like through their programs and stuff. And then from there, hopefully it can take me somewhere else. Right now, I don't have anything definite that I want to see myself in 5 years. Just kind of like whatever flows and works out.
And I'm gonna pop back to a question that we have like at the end of the list, but I think it's really applicable here. What kind of interests do you have outside of video games or like?
Well, I really like reading. Like, if that's a hobby, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love
Without
reading.
Without a
doubt. I read a lot of like fiction too. Same kind of stuff I like to write and like along those lines. So those two kind of go hand in hand, which is why I kind of got into creating and writing. But yeah, I love reading. So.
What kind of books do you like to read? Like what genres? You don't have to name any specific
I don't know.
books.
I'm still in my like young adult phase of.
Me too.
So moving on from that though, I'll read anything. I feel like I find a lot of interest in like long range of subjects. Sorry.
Awesome. I'm definitely still in my young adult phase too. I have most of my books on my bookshelf are young adult. They're so good.
Does one truly ever leave that young adult
You're right.
phase? It was a simpler time. I get it. I want to stay in that phase too.
I want to read all the dystopian fiction that's ever possible. Trashy love triangles.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing Sheridan and Maria can't relate to this, but I used to like eat books like for breakfast. Like, I would just eat like 60 books a day, obviously metaphorically. And now like I can't get myself through like 4 pages. I don't know if that's just me. Okay, cool. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I used to be a
I don't have
voracious
time
eater.
anymore.
That doesn't help either. The kind of like crushing weight of school and the inevitability of like having to figure out your life. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I still had like the want to read. So I'm glad that stayed with both of you.
School, I mean, I have to admit, school has kind of killed it for me. Like,
I agree too.
I have like over 100 books. I mean, they're all at home, so like I don't really have like easy access to them, but I just can't. Also, social media has killed it for me.
A little bit, yeah, that too. Maybe like
just
4
doom
hours.
Scroll Twitter instead of reading a book.
Yeah.
So
that's like reading a book, right? Or like the 6 hours on TikTok could probably just have finished an entire Game of Thrones book, but yeah.
So moving into your career, so to speak, as an Overwatch player, we kind of want to know how long you've been playing Overwatch and what originally drew you into the game, as opposed to other games or on its own.
So I started playing like late 2017, and the game came out I think a year before that. So it was still like a bunch of new players playing as well. And my friend that I met through World of Warcraft introduced me to that game. She started playing it and was like, wow, this is so cool. This is nothing like World of Warcraft. You should try it out though. All the characters look really cool. I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's something new. At the time, World of Warcraft was like the only game I was playing, so I'm like, I want to branch out and try something else. I mean, and I've been playing ever since then.
And was that the first like FPS game you had ever played?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Same. I remember high school, just like hanging with my high school buddies, playing the beta at like 15 frames per second on my old laptop, like lowest quality. Mercy was in like pixels on my screen. I was like, oh, this looks so bad, but it's so worth it. I remember those days.
The good old days.
The good old days.
So you started the game. Was there anything specifically, like, once you started that kind of drew you into continuing to play it? Because for me, it was like the diversity in the characters and like the color of the game compared to a bunch of other ones. But what was it for you?
Definitely that. There was like, I mean, I forgot exactly how many heroes you could choose from, but each one was just so unique, and it's like, wow, I want to try all of them. And so time slowly went into like playing each of them in like just quick play or whatever. And then I met more friends through that game that I got to play with. So I kind of found this whole new community, and they're all really nice and funny.
That's awesome. And so you said that you played like a variety of the characters. When was it that you decided to really become a support main?
Actually, after the fall tryouts at FSU, I signed up as like a flex because I had no idea what I was like best at, because I had been playing like everything. And then the game manager at the time was like, okay, you're good at support. You're being put on support. I'm like, okay, I guess. But I didn't complain at all. I really like support now.
Definitely. And which heroes do you find yourself gravitating to?
In support, yeah. Lucio was the first hero, because at that time there was like a specific meta, and like each person kind of could only play one character in order to like, be the best at the game. And so Lucio was one of those, and I kind of fell into the one trick role of him for a while. But after that, I played a lot of Ana too. Those two I think are my favorite just to play in general. Their play styles and they're really fun. And then Baptiste too, he's fun too. I've been playing him more recently, I think.
I'm a Baptiste one trick. That's a fact.
I think I played with you when you were in, because fun fact, also used to be on the Overwatch team for a very short amount of time. I think I played with you when you were in your like Lucio phase, because if I'm not wrong, that was during GOATS, but I might be wrong, or it was like
I think it was like right after or something. It was like double shield, but you needed Lucio.
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
Either way, yeah. I remember being stuck on Reinhardt and like praising both the healers because you guys were amazing at keeping me up. The amount of beats that you dropped, where I was like, that was like 2 HP. Thank you. You're a really talented support, and I guess on that subject, like, what is it about being a support that you really like? Or I mean, do you like? I'm guessing you like it since you're doing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like important to the game and like my team and stuff, which I mean goes without saying because it's like you're supporting them and making sure they don't die. But like you can do a lot with like your abilities and stuff. Really like change the game too. So doing everything perfect is just like, wow, this feels great. I really like that feeling.
Definitely good. And I'm thinking, I guess sometimes when I think about playing support, I only think about like the bad things, like sorry, not to make this negative or anything, but that's definitely what drew me to support too. Like I feel like I'm actually accomplishing something.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel valuable.
Yeah.
Like there is bad things to it too, like people will blame you for doing something, they don't think they're doing anything wrong. Like, oh, I didn't get healed, that's why I died. No. You just stood in their face and got shot.
Yeah, meanwhile they're like in the enemy spawn and you're like 60 miles away and there's no way you could have healed them through any of that. But yeah, I think supports often end up being like the unsung heroes of the matches, especially those like really close ones. You see like those clutch Genji plays and like big Ryan shatters, but there's always the Ana behind getting those big sleeps and big nades, and nobody really, it's hard to kind of get recognition. So it's good that you give yourself that recognition instead, because sometimes that's like way more important than waiting for some dude bro on comp to be like, oh, nice sleep. Like, tell yourself that nice sleep, like, nice night. So I think it's a really good attitude to have, to like know when you're doing well, because that's no one else is gonna do it for you.
That's true.
And how competitively did you play Overwatch prior to joining FSU Esports?
I didn't play that competitive. I didn't play that competitively. I was on like some leagues, but they were like with a friend community and stuff, and then we played against each other with like teams created through that community. There was no like reward or anything. It was just kind of like for fun. So I guess, if that counts. And then actual competitive in the game was a nightmare to play by myself, so I would always like play with a friend or something. But usually I just did a lot of like casual gaming before actually like trying out and competing against other schools too, which I thought was really cool when I first started.
So for your, like, I guess playing casually, did your habits change a lot once you joined the team? Did you find yourself playing a lot more often and putting more hours in? Like, what was that like?
Definitely. I wasn't used to like people taking the game seriously, I guess is how you could say it. So my attitude changed towards that. I wanted to get better so I could like make the team better too. And then it was really fun to beat other schools, because like, we got them, we're better than you or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I became more vocal too. I used to not talk at all in like playing solo in competitive play, but like now that you're with the team, you can kind of like tell them you're in trouble or something, and they'll help out, and actually will help out instead of just ignoring you. So that's yeah.
And you've had a lot of interesting opportunities through collegiate as well. Specifically, what comes to mind is the Florida Mayhem Collegiate Rumble. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was so fun. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I think that's one of my favorite experiences so far, being on the FSU team. Like the actual Florida Mayhem sponsored a tournament for all the 8 schools, I think, in Florida. And then we all got to compete each other, and FSU got 4th place in that. It was so fun, and there was casters and stuff too. And Sheridan, you spammed a bunch of coffee pastas in the chat, and they made it up to the screen. Those are so funny.
I totally forgot about that.
I loved that. That was so fun. Everyone was so hyped too. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. I was just gonna say it was totally cool to see like a pro org, dipping their hands in collegiate a little bit and giving us giving our teams the spotlight and our amazing players.
Exactly.
It's really cool to watch, especially like the more that UCF gets to play FSU, the happier I am personally. But like obviously it was cool to have a bunch of different schools come together, because sometimes, when you're playing in like TESPA, there's hundreds of schools, but like specifically getting to play in your state and like capitalize on those school rivalries and everything, it's really fun. And I think it's also just great for students to be able to participate in stuff that's offered by the Mayhem, which was awesome for us over the summer to kind of like bring the club together. So yeah,
definitely.
I think it's awesome.
Sorry, I'm looking at my questions list. It's all the way over here.
Same.
So, what would you say? I know you said that the Florida Mayhem Collegiate Rumble is one of your favorite experiences. Do you have any other highlight experiences from playing for FSU Esports?
The friends I made through it. Like, when I first tried out, I was not expecting to get on a team at all. But I like, my main goal for trying out was just kind of like to meet people who also played Overwatch, so I didn't feel like so alone coming to this new school and stuff. But like now I have a bunch of friends and we're all in a big group chat and it's really fun. And like that's definitely something I'm going to be looking back on in my college years, like when I'm old and withering, I'm like, I miss that. That was so fun.
And some of them are recorded too, so you have like actual footage
yeah,
to look back
true.
on. And so you have tryouts next weekend. As of
Yes.
recording, it'll probably be in the past by now, but how are you feeling about those?
I'm excited still. It's also nervous, even though I've tried out, I think 4 or 5 times, like separately for each semester. It's always nerve-wracking. I don't know why, even though I know most of the people there too. But usually those are fun, and there's some new faces we get to meet too. So I'm looking forward to that.
How do you? I think
are we
were
about to ask
I
the same
think
question?
We were just about to ask the same question.
You go for it. Go for it.
I'm guessing this was gonna be Sheridan's question, but how do you cope and deal with those nerves that you might feel right before the tryouts or the few days leading up to it?
Usually I like to practice some, so I'm not like going in and feeling super rusty. Today, after this, I'm probably gonna get on and practice, and throughout the week, leading up to it, after homework and stuff, I usually play at least a few games or something, just to kind of get my head in the game, you know?
And how many hours would you say you put in, like, per week?
Per
per
week?
month? You can
Per month,
ballpark.
that's, yeah. It's different. With school, it's kind of fluctuates per week, but per month, I want to say like 20. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good number either. I definitely should be playing more, I feel like, but that's something I guess on.
How do you, I guess 20 is pretty reasonable. I know sometimes like people up in admin will be like, oh, like these kids are playing games way too often, like it's their entire life. Obviously, that's not the case. So, how do you keep a healthy balance between like your schoolwork, which sometimes is super demanding maybe, and sometimes you have like off periods? How do you balance that with practicing?
Well, I definitely say school comes first. So I usually complete like homework and stuff for a day, and then game at night. Then if there's like a big project or something I know I need to spend more time on, I'll like put stuff aside for that. I know like the grades are very important, but and practicing is too, but like practicing I think is also more fun than doing homework at the same time. So I usually put that last as like a reward too, for if I finish something.
I was gonna say you have good discipline, because you earlier said like, oh, I'll practice like after homework. I'm like, it's usually the other way around for me. I'll be like, oh, I have a whole essay due. Let me just do a few games of Overwatch comp, and then it turns into like 6 hours, and then it's midnight. And I'm not a good example. Please don't take me as an example. Like anyone listening to this, God, please no. But like moving on, I guess on this kind of like subject of like how many hours you put into a game and such, have you like considered pursuing Overwatch to a more competitive degree, such as like Path to Pro or Contenders, which I'm sure would take a lot more hours.
Yeah.
And if yes, like what would it take for you to take that plunge?
Definitely more hours put on that. I'm not sure how I'd balance that amount of hours, but I mean, if like a team coach or something was like, yeah, you got potential, put some effort into it or something and try out, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds cool. Playing something I like as like a career, it sounds awesome. I would be interested in that. I mean, I don't think I'm good at that level now. Definitely not. A lot of work needs to be put into that, but I appreciate all those who are up there, because you get to look at them and you're like, wow, you're so cool. You're playing video games for a living, and stuff like that.
On that note, do you watch Owl frequently, or Contenders, or anything?
This season kind of infrequently, just because it was online and kind of hard to follow.
Yeah.
I know the teams and stuff though. I don't watch every single match, but I keep up with like who's in the lead and who's behind. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite team?
The Mayhem, because we live here.
Fair enough.
That, yeah. Like that, and I think I really liked LA Gladiators at one point with the roster they had. They've changed it now, and I don't know if I like it as much, but I was a big fan of them too.
Yeah, I know a lot of the pros that were, at least I used to watch a lot of OW. Like I know now a lot of them have kind of moved on to other endeavors such as like Valorant and stuff.
Valorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know we've lost a few to Valorant, but I'm sure I'd have to look at their roster. But I think I agree with you. Back when the LA Gladiators were at their peak, they had a pretty nasty roster, I've got to say. So moving on from Overwatch just for a moment, we'll get to World of Warcraft in the near future. Would you play like any other video games, any like story video games, anything like that?
Not really. I've played Apex a few times with my friends. That's another first-person shooter. I don't play that competitively though at all. I just like kind of going in and trying to roll kids. So
Fair enough.
but yeah, I don't really play anything else as much as these two games.
Okay, that's fair. Gotta stick to your faves, right?
Yeah.
So, are we gonna dip into that territory of World of Warcraft now? Are we ready?
Yes,
Just a heads up. I don't think I started playing World of Warcraft last week for like
Oh, okay.
like an hour
For research.
but I for research, but I don't know anything about World of Warcraft, and I don't know how much these other ladies know about World of Warcraft either. So we're excited to find out.
We're like really excited. My extent of World of Warcraft was my brother playing it until like the early hours of the morning when I was a kid, and then me, Simon, snitching on him to my parents about it because I was an awful sister and I wanted to earn the brownie points. So that's my only extent to the knowledge, is me just walking in and seeing him play it, and that's just about it. So I'm ready to learn some lessons here. Annabelle, what about you?
So I've never touched World of Warcraft with a 10-foot pole, because instead of playing WoW in my developmental years like you, I actually played the competitor Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Oh, okay.
So I've been playing that for about 6 years now. I trash talk a lot sometimes because my partner, he plays a lot of WoW. I've watched him play it. I will say you guys have it good though. You guys, wouldn't get banned for tracking DPS or anything like that, so that must have been nice. But I'm coming here with an open mind. I think I can relate to a lot of like mechanics maybe, or just like classes. So yeah, that's me. I'm like, I play the weeb MMO is what they call it. So.
Is that really the nickname for it?
Yeah, they have cat girls. I mean,
that's hilarious. Wait, is that the one that has like the Disney characters in it?
That's Kingdom Hearts, which is also by Square Enix.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is Final Fantasy plus Disney.
WoW with all the Disney characters. Yeah. So you've been playing World of Warcraft since you were 7 years old. How did you even get into World of Warcraft? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my dad played Warcraft 3, which is like the game before World of Warcraft. I don't know what style that was. I don't know the name of it, but like I watched that over his shoulder when I was like 5 or something, and then he started playing WoW when that came out, and still I watched him, and I kept asking him like, hey, can I play that game? Can I make a character? He's like, no, you're too young. I was like 6, so I used to like sit on his desk or like in his lap or something and just watch him play. And then sometimes he would hand me over his character and I'd like run around in circles because I'm 6. I don't know what I'm doing. Then when I was 7, I forgot what the like event was that he said yes, I could make a character. But I got to make a character, and I've literally been playing that same character to this day. That's my main. It's kind of sad. I put a lot of work into that character. Yeah, that's my origin story.
what like?
Tell us about that
Yeah,
character.
like what class and stuff. I don't know. Are there It's classes, right? Like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, yeah. What class is it?
Class is Hunter because you get to have a cute pet. That's what attracted me at 7. I named it after iCarly because that also was something I was into when I was 7. So its name is Carly, and she's got a badass like pink tiger named Goldie, which I named after like my cousin's golden retriever, which I just like the name of or something. And those two have been a big part of my life. Yeah, so the hunter class, you get to like play with a pet, and then like in different classes you can pick like different what you're like specializing in that class. And I chose the one where you get to like run around with a giant spear and just stab things. So it's been really fun.
That's awesome. And so your dad's a gamer.
Yeah.
Anyone else in your household a gamer? Do you live in a gamer house?
I do not, sadly. My mom isn't a gamer. My sister is too cool for gaming. My brother plays Clash of Clans, mobile gaming. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
okay,
counts.
yeah.
Gamer household.
Yeah, I guess.
You love to see it. So what are your favorite parts about WoW? What draws you to continue to play the game?
There's like competition of it is cool. You get to see like, I mean, there's like millions of people who are playing it, and I don't know, I like comparing myself to other people, so you can like go in and look how many achievements you have versus another person and stuff, and like find your ranking on it. I like trying to climb those. There's also like PvP too, which I only tried out recently, and it's a lot to take in, but that's fun too. I want to do more of that. And then the PvE content is like you do dungeons and raids with like groups of people. And so I recently got into raiding, which was like raiding with 20 to 25 other people. So there's like all of those people in a Discord together, and you have to like listen to each other. And I don't know, I like the coordination with that. But then like I think the main thing that's kept me on for so many years is like collecting things. There's a lot of different like appearances you can collect, like mounts and little pets that are really cute. So I have a very big collection to my name on that account.
Awesome. And I know well, I've only played for like 5 minutes, but when we were all in our group chat talking about WoW, I definitely want to play it because of the pets. That's for sure. That's why I played RuneScape. So.
Yeah, you were saying like 7-year-old you was attracted to the pets. Like you're kind of selling it to me. Like now I just want to get on there and have myself a pet as well. And on the subject of raids, my brother still plays World of Warcraft, so sometimes I'll call him and be like, hey, you want to have a board game night? He's like, I can't. I'm raiding tonight. And I never understood it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's like, wow, you're so cool. But like now I feel like I kind of get it a little bit more. It's kind of like a community thing, you know, like you pull together, as you said, like I didn't even think it was that many, but like 20 people. And is it like, do you fight something? Do you like fight other people? Like what is it? Is it like a bar brawl kind of deal?
It's like 20 to 25 people fighting one boss, and it's like a big guy with a lot of health, and he'll throw different like we call them mechanics at you. Like you can't stand the fire, you have to like stand single file in one line for like 5 seconds or something. Like that, I'm just making stuff up. I can't think of something specific, but it's like it's a bunch of stuff that you have to do with your team. And if you can die if you don't do something right, and usually you want everyone alive to kill him. I mean, it kind of says it there, but I get really satisfied when like people are doing things right, and then we all get it down with like no issues. That's something I like about raiding a lot.
So that's.
And how does that?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was just gonna ask like how that like a Discord of 20 people doesn't become like absolute chaos. Like, can you tell us a little bit about like what kind of communication you have going on, or how all of that kind of works?
Usually, so I raided with my guild, and the guild will have like a guild leader or a raid leader, and then one of those two will be like the main person calling out stuff. And sometimes he'll just put like all of us on server mute or something, so we just don't say anything, or like push to talk or something like that. I was always on push to talk, but usually, I don't know. I haven't had that many issues of it just being pure chaos. Just because, like, I think people who play WoW and raid, they just know it's like proper etiquette to just not say anything, or wait until you need to say something, and let the raid leader, guild leader do most of the talking and stuff. So it's not that bad. I mean, there was one time I raided with 40 people, for classic WoW. I did that for a little bit. That was insane. He did like server mute for that, so
Oh my god.
luckily no one was like screaming. But I mean, you will occasionally hear like the background noise of the officers or something if they have their mics on, and you get to know their dogs' voices really well.
So
How did you get into your guild? I'm so sorry,
no,
Ziva.
it's totally fine. Go ahead.
I wanna
That's
know
a
more
great
about this
That's a
guild.
great question.
I'm listening to all this
I
stuff,
know.
and I'm sure
I'm-
Maria is too, like, guilds, wow, so familiar to me.
I'm
Like,
learning so
let's
much.
explain. Yeah.
I want to know
So,
about your
like,
guild.
Yeah, so a guild, first of all, is like a mini community within the realm you play in. Like, there's a bunch of different realms you can choose from, and then from there, guilds are made for people within that realm, specifically. So at first I was playing on like a realm my dad played on, and he had a guild with like friends he played D&D with, in real life. I didn't really know them that well, and like I did raid with them a few times, but I was like 10 or something at that time, and didn't know what I was doing still then. But then eventually they stopped playing, my dad stopped playing, and so I was kind of like alone in that guild. And then like 2 years ago or something now, I was like, I don't know, I was like messing around with like my friend in open world, and I met this random guy, and like, you just meet random people and you can start talking to them and like get in dungeons with them and stuff. And then he mentioned to me like, oh, his guild is looking for recruitments, but like on a different server. And I was like, huh, well, I'm kind of like in a dead guild right now, and I want to start trying raiding. Can I come along to a raid one time? And then so I did, and the guild leader then saw me, and he was like, yo, we'll totally pay for your like realm transfer or something, if you come join our raid team, because I did good in that raid, like that trial or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I transferred realms, and then I've been in this realm that I'm in now, for like 2 years, and I've been raiding with them since too.
How old were you when you joined the guild?
18?
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
18 or 17. I was like, it was like early 18ish, yeah.
Right.
That's so cool.
But yeah.
I feel like for MMOs, at least for me, like, a lot of gamers have their like golden age, right? Which is like when everything was busy and everything was great. And for me, that was probably when I was like 16. But I'm back in the dead guild age right now. Our free company is just like totally boring. I don't have the time to really raid seriously and like join a static, which is like a group that meets probably like 2 or 3 times a week, just for context, for Ziva and Sheridan. So I'm pretty sure your brother is in a static, which I don't know if the terminology is different for WoW, but yeah, I just didn't have the time to meet for like 2 hours, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday or something. It's like, it seems like a job to me.
Oh yeah.
But
Sorry.
go ahead.
When I was reading, now with like school starting and stuff, I'm doing it like kind of casually. But when I did like hardcore or whatever, it was like meet 3 times a week for 4 hours or something. It was like a job. And it was like, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's when we'd meet, and it was like from like 9:30. They were like a West Coast.
Oh.
They were West Coast based. So mine went from like 8:30 to 11:30. I was doing online school though for like my senior year, so it wasn't that bad. But like coming into college and stuff, I was like, I do not want to stay up till like 12:30. Just constantly dying. So that's where I started to like stop for a little bit. But
do you have to practice for those, or like continue to level up your character, or like how does that work?
You just have to do like dungeons and stuff on the side to kind of gear up your character so you can do more damage and like not die easily and stuff like that. There's not really like a practice you can go into for raids. It's usually all the practice you do is with your guild in that raid, and like progression is something like if you kill a boss and you're trying to kill like the second boss in the raid, you'll keep you'll keep going in and killing him. Even if you die, then you have everyone revive, and then you go again and just try to see how far you can get, and learn all the mechanics and stuff involved, and then eventually you get him down. That's really cool.
It's like a game of memorizing. It's
Yeah.
actually like super fun. Yeah, the one thing that I wish that Final Fantasy kind of had, I know you talked about like 20, 25 man raids. We have those, but they're like for everybody, so they're not like super difficult, and I wish that I could have that experience, which you're kind of selling me right now. Because usually it's just 8 people, so it's a lot easier to coordinate 8 people, especially if they're like good at learning. But I'm also curious to see like if WoW is more difficult or not, because Final Fantasy is like a different style, and I'm curious to see if it's like easier. I don't think it is personally, but we'll see. So maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know. I think my partner would be happy to hear that one. But
Maria low-key like getting all of us to play WoW.
Yeah, for real, you're selling it really well, because I've never had any interest before, but now I don't know, you're like especially selling the community aspect a lot, which seems to be like something you really enjoy about it. And I guess on that subject, other than the community aspect though, if you want to elaborate on that, what are some of your favorite parts of World of Warcraft? Like, is it the competition, the story?
Yeah, the same like raiding and doing dungeons and stuff. If you got like a good team and you work well together, it's really rewarding. I like that a lot. Finding that though can be difficult. Like, it's not completely void of toxicity, so there has been stuff like that, and you just have to move past it. But yeah, like PvP I haven't done too much of. It's very chaotic. I don't know if you guys, probably not, but like they actually do cast like the arena world championships and stuff for World of Warcraft, and the casting, they're like calling out everyone's abilities, and if you don't play World of Warcraft, you will have no idea what's going on, because every class has like 20 abilities and different combos and stuff you can do. But so I need to do more PvP, but it is fun to beat up things. I like that aspect a lot.
I agree. I don't think it's like, I think that's the majority of like any game is like, yeah, it's just fun to beat stuff up.
I was curious though. I know you said you played Hunter. I know in WoW like you can only have 1 class per character. Just some shade there.
Yeah.
But are there any other classes that you've tried or enjoyed or that you play on the side?
Yeah, I used to play, like when I was kind of getting bored of Hunter for a while, just because they haven't released like new content, so I'd like kind of cleared out most of the content. I did like an alt, and that was a paladin, but I was like a healing paladin, holy paladin is what it's called. And that was really fun too. I didn't do much on that, just kind of like dungeons. I didn't really raid at all, but I don't know. Healing is fun in the game too, because like everyone takes a lot of damage, and you just make it disappear.
You make it all better. No, I agree. I'm a healing main personally, so it's fun to like put the puzzle together, right? And like I gotta heal this person, and then I gotta heal the whole group, and then like make sure everyone stays alive. It's super fun. Even though people kind of like support, they just, oh, why aren't you healing me? It's like, you're fine. You won't die yet. You have
Yeah.
15 seconds. I'll get to
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
In raids too, there's usually of like the 20 people, there's usually like 3 or 4 healers to heal everyone, and it's insane how much they do. Yeah, no, I have a lot of respect for them. I think I've only healed in a raid 1 or 2 times, and it was stressful. It's very stressful. So I don't know if I will continue doing that, but I did like doing the dungeons with the smaller things. We only had to heal 3 other people.
So like in Overwatch, there's healers. Are there also like tanks, and like how are the roles kind of split up?
Yeah, same concept in Overwatch. There's 3 roles: tank, damage, and healing. For a dungeon though, you'll have like 1 tank, 3 DPS, and then 1 healer. So just 5 people. And then in raids, you'll have like 2 tanks, and then 3 or 4 healers, and the rest is all damage.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of damage classes, and a few tanks and healing classes, but yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome. And so you mentioned on your guest form that you haven't had the best social experience in the game, and that you'd be willing to talk about it.
Sure.
We're not forcing her, I swear.
We're not forcing her. We're not
Okay.
forcing her, I promise. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that? You don't have to go super in depth, but just some of the things that you've dealt with.
Well, like, since I started playing when I was like 7, my dad emphasized like stranger danger. Not everyone is also going to be 7 and have the same interests as you, like Elmo or something. I don't know. I forgot what I did when I was 7.
This isn't Webkins, okay? Not everyone is 7.
So I went into thinking that, but me being kind of stupid, I did like try to talk to other people. I'm like, hi, what's up? But then, by my like typing style or something, they clearly knew I was like very young. Some of them were like, you're young, get out of my group or something like that. And then others, I don't know if they like played along or like thought of me as like a pet or something, which is weird, but like I got to tag along to them. Then when I grew up, when I got in the guild, the second guild where I'm like raiding and stuff, I was like 18, still in high school, and like before that I was like kind of kept quiet because I realized like, you're like a young woman playing a game where like the majority player base is like older men, I guess. So I was just kind of like worried about myself. And I went, but then when I started doing more things that involved like more community and like social aspects, like when you have to like call out and speak in Discord and like, oh crap, that's a girl or something like that.
Yeah.
I did get a few like slide into the DMs kind of situation. I was like, I am still in high school. This is kind of creeping me out. But I just kind of like ignored them afterwards. Like one of them tried to be friends first, but then acted creepy after that. And then after that one, I just kind of like stayed away from like anyone trying to reach out, I guess. Which, I mean, I don't know if that was the best choice or not, because there are good people who play the game. Like I've met a few people through like FSU, and I've been playing with them recently. But like I don't know, it's just kind of hard to deal with wanting to find friends and stuff, but like knowing you're probably gonna get some weirdo response in return or something like that. So I've kind of been in like a little shell whenever I play. Which is really sad. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay.
No worries.
I relate to that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think we can.
It's like, especially like playing an MMO, it's like so social. Like you can't. It's hard to play alone. You instinctively want to make friends, right? But like sometimes you have to. I like to say, like, I've been on the internet for a while now, so I feel like I can judge people, or at least I played Final Fantasy long enough to know if this guy is, like, hitting me up and I don't really know him, like, is he a really nice person, or is he, like, what are his intentions? But I think, I've definitely had some very weird situations looking back. You know, people being super clingy or like, I don't know. But I've also had like good experiences. Like, two of my favorite raid leaders ever were actually a married couple, and they had a
Aw.
kid, and the whole like guild was like, "Oh, congrats!" Like, it was the cutest thing ever. And they were like really good too. Like, I know a lot of people meme about the tank husband and the healer wife, but they were actually like really, really good at the game. So I think, um, not trying to get advicey, but like if you have your friends that you're comfortable with, you can always expand your group that way.
Yeah.
I used to feel pressured to always be nice to everybody too, and like not, turn anybody away. But I think I'm jaded now, and I'm kind of like quote unquote old. Uh, but Sheridan's like, I'm the graduated one here.
Like, if you
But
feel old, what am I?
Sheridan's like the one with the
Ancient?
job, like the mom.
but I've definitely had some very sus interactions, and I think I'm very glad that you have some friends from FSU, because like for me, going from high school to college, I was always like looking for more friends too. Um, I didn't really find any that played Final Fantasy at UCF, but um, the golden years I had like a really good guild, and I was having a good time freshman year, so I kind of miss that. But yeah, like I wish people were kind of chill, but at the same time, when you're on the internet, you can be whatever you want to be. And so
Unfortunately.
for us,
Yep.
that's just ourselves, right? But for some people, it's like not so great, you know?
Yeah.
But
And you met some internet friends as well, right?
I did, yeah. I met someone my age from Alaska. She's real. I've seen her face. Like she's not. But like yeah, I met her and then a few other people my age, like in Washington, like West Coasties. I didn't get to play with them that much because it's like a 4-hour time difference. But when I did. We had a lot of fun then. But like besides her, I think she was the only person I met through World of Warcraft that was like nice and not like a creep in a way. Like I continue to be friends with. I've met other like mutual people that are just kind of there. I don't think they know I'm a chick though. I don't know if that would make a difference or not.
I don't think it should make a difference, personally. I think that's probably what we all think, but I guess for some people it does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
But
we spoke about this subject like briefly in our introductory episode. Is about like how social video games are in a way that like the older generation just doesn't quite understand. I think my mom was clowning me the other day like about the fact that like like 80 or 85% of my friends are like online friends, which first of all, mom, there's a pandemic, and second of all, I think this idea that we're starting to get over is that like proximity isn't always the best way to make a friendship, if that makes sense. Like if the only thing that really makes somebody your friend is the fact that they're in your general area, like that's not a great friendship to build on. But I think a lot of us have built up friendships off of things like general same interests, like similar moral beliefs, similar ethics, because we've met them through something that we're passionate about, rather than just the fact that they're like at our local Starbucks like or at our school or any of those things. So I think the fact that we all have like stories of like really good friends that we've made, and I mean like Alaska, that's like in another world, but clearly you have something that makes them a special friend to you. And I think that's like something I hope at least, or I don't know, me, I just hope my parents will get it one day. It's just like, listen, proximity isn't enough for me. Like I need to be, I need to like relate to you. And so that's a point I hope this podcast will maybe help relay, as well as we bring on more and more people who have similar experiences.
I think it's really cool though that Maria, you mentioned your dad is kind of like a gamer,
Yeah.
so hopefully he gets it. My dad was also a gamer, just not like online. He played a lot of Xbox and stuff, and then we would play like Wii together. But uh, sometimes my parents have conversations where my mom just doesn't get it, and my dad has to kind of explain, or that's what would happen when I lived with them. And we did get to meet up with some of my internet friends. We went to London and actually met up with one of my
Whoa.
friends in the UK. And they were like shocked. They were like, he's such a nice young man. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's almost like I have judgment and I can tell somebody's character, right?
Yeah.
But like, it was very cute. So now they like, I guess, kind of understand why I like want to travel and see other people. And also like, even though Sheridan and everybody else, you guys are what, like 3 hours away?
Yeah.
Is that how far
Short
Tallahassee
little
is? I can't
drive.
remember. Like,
Four, maybe
it
five.
doesn't matter. Like, we're all here. So,
Yeah.
And
you know,
even when I
Alaska or
move
Tallahassee.
to Texas,
Yeah?
I'll still be here. My little apartment. Not in here though.
Not here.
This
Another
place
one.
sucks.
And we'll visit for sure. I guess on that same,
Even if you're just visiting on the computer, that's really cool with me.
exactly. I think what the past year has proven is you can build plenty of connections just through, a computer screen or a Zoom call or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think like the first friend I made through video games, I kind of like, this is not a good example to anyone who's young watching this, but I low-key lied. I lied to my parents about where I met her. I'm not gonna lie, because I knew if I said, hey, I met her through Overwatch, that's literally the only thing I know about her. Like, obviously we talked and we called and I knew who she was, but we were meeting in person, so obviously I didn't want to say like, oh, this is my friend from Overwatch. I lied. I was like, we met at like my esports club. She visited once, and then after a while, when we had like been friends for a while, and they met her and they went to dinner with her and they were like, we love her. I was like, oh yeah, guess where I met her? Dropped the ball on them, and they were like, oh wow. So that actually, well, after they got over the fact that they were mad that I lied to them, they like, kind of in the same way made them uncover the fact that like you can learn a lot about someone through even a screen, a video game, all of that. It's crazy. We got hella off topic. I'm so sorry. Anyways, moving on.
That's okay.
Do you have like any favorite stories about playing World of Warcraft? Like whether that's just playing with your father, playing with friends. Do you have one that comes to mind?
Well, like some like achievements and stuff, they take a long time to do. Something I just remember is like I spent the entire day trying to get this one achievement with like 4 other random people I met in like a queue, and someone was like, hey, I'm also trying to get this achievement, we need help. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do this. And then it ended up being 12 hours. We got it though, but like the entire time we kind of just like slowly succumbed to like this deadpan, like if we died instantly, we're like, this is fun, this is so fun. And I don't know, I just thought that was really funny because it's like everyone's trying to collectively get something, and they're at the point where like the amount of hours they put into it, the time doesn't matter, it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, I have multiple moments like that, and I don't know, it cracks me up sometimes because like there's other really dedicated people on here, or stubborn, I guess, too. But
yeah, stubborn. That's me.
I think we've all been there, like in those moments where you have to like try to convince yourself you're having a good time. Like when I was trying to grind diamond in like open queue, I would just like lose 2 or 3 games in a row. I'd be like, I'm having a fantastic, oh my god, I'm having such a great time. Meanwhile, there's like tears rolling down my cheek. But then, like I hit diamond and it was like so worth it. So like I completely get where you're coming from in that like,
yeah.
It was 12 hours of my life and I was crying half the time, but I made it. Like,
I tell myself that when I play Valorant, especially yesterday. I was like, I love this game. This game is very fun.
Yeah.
I love playing this game. I'm not gonna uninstall after I'm done playing. I've considered it though, not gonna lie.
We all have.
So this kind of ties back to Overwatch. But how did World of Warcraft transition you into Overwatch, if at all?
Well, I mean, it's made by the same company, so there was a lot of like hidden symbols from World of Warcraft in Overwatch and like their maps and stuff. Not necessarily in like game style or gameplay, but I like recognized that like what tanks, DPS, and supports were and like what their roles were to do. So it was kind of easy getting in. And then, but like ability and character wise, that was all new to me. But it was fun to learn them too. So, yeah.
So what's next for you this year? Sorry, I don't know if Ziva had any.
I was just gonna go into that follow-up, like, other than the kind of like little Easter eggs and the fact that there's tank, healer, and DPS, do you see like any similarities between World of Warcraft and Overwatch? Or
I mean, like some abilities do look very like, I don't know, their animation style or whatever, it's very similar to what some abilities do in World of Warcraft.
okay.
I guess that.
Oh,
Plus, there's
cool.
also more stuff to collect with the skins and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so that's fun.
That's cool.
Awesome. I think that's about what we had. What's next for you this semester? What do you have going on? Anything cool or exciting?
Well, tryouts next week for sure. That's a big thing. After that, depending on what team I get put on, the like tournaments and stuff, I think we're doing a new tournament outside of TESPA this semester, just because TESPA is a little bit dead right now.
On life support. Yeah.
And then other opportunities arise too. Like last semester we had, I think, like three other tournaments plus TESPA that we got to do.
Nice.
So that, yeah, each was fun. So looking forward to that. And then, you know, World of Warcraft just released a new expansion like 2 months ago. So I've been grinding that out. Gonna do more of that. And then school-wise, just get through the semester, I guess.
Definitely. Well, thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you everybody for coming to our first episode with Maria Courbrew. It was such a pleasure to have you. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe. I'm kidding.
No, we're not
But,
kidding. For real.
Please hit like and subscribe if you're interested in our content, or if you're following us on one of our other platforms, please make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, so that you will see when our next episode goes up. And of course, thank you for coming out. So,
Yay!